Hi, everybody. My name is Leslie Miranda. I'm a psychotherapist and life coach. And today I want to talk about how a person might know that they're on the right track. This is always an interesting subject for a lot of people because oftentimes in life we are faced with decisions or we're not quite sure which way to go, what the next step might be in a person's life. And there are a few things that I have found to be very helpful as far as providing a bit of guidance and navigation towards the right direction. So I love quotes, and one of the quotes that inspired this video today is a quote by Rumi, where Rumi says, Rumi the poet, when you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. I'll just read it again. When you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. So Rumi is saying that there is just something that starts to percolate when you're doing something that resonates with your soul or your core being, right? And that there's a feeling of joy that goes about along with that. So that is one measure to know whether something is really aligned with who you are, is that sense of just being deeply connected and as though there is just this positive feeling that moves through you. And you can counter that with environments that don't feel that way, right? Where you feel constricted and unhappy. Or even if you're making a pro and cons list, which I definitely recommend if you're trying to decide which way to go in your life, make that pro and cons list. And it's great to look at what's on the paper as far as the pros and cons, but also how you feel when you contemplate each prospect. So I think that's really important to just notice that is there something that flows when you think of a particular scenario, when you put yourself in a particular scenario. Joseph Campbell, he talked about following your bliss, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. But one thing that also goes along with this is the idea of vocation. So vocation, it's not just a job. It's like it's the expression of your soul's calling in the form of a job or a career. So it's just something to keep in mind. I remember seeing an interview from Oprah Winfrey a few years back, and she said that when she first got on her show, that it felt to her like breathing, meaning it was just so natural. It just felt so right and so comfortable. And again, she was using that indication of that. Does this flow? Is there that river moving through you? So Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss. And I'll read the full quote in just a moment. A lot of people think that means like hedonism. You just like, hey, if it feels good, do it. And that's not what he's referring to. He's talking about like what Rumi was talking about, that deep soul connection to something, or that sense where you're alive and it's like your cells and your body are telling you this is what you're meant to do, you know? So he's saying you go there. You follow, that's your bliss, is that sense of complete alignment and fulfillment and aliveness, right? So I'll read the quote. Follow your bliss. If you do follow your bliss, you put yourself on a kind of track that has been there all the while waiting for you. And the life you ought to be living is the one you are living. When you can see that and begin to meet people who are in the field of your bliss and they open the doors to you, I say follow your bliss and don't be afraid, and doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be. If you follow your bliss, doors will open for you that wouldn't have opened for anyone else. So he's just saying that there is this kind of movement and momentum of energy that happens when you're operating according to that deep sense of alignment and purpose. And again, it's like your whole being becomes illuminated with what you're doing. So this isn't saying that you don't have to work to get there, right? Like I remember studying to be a therapist. There's a lot of hours that you need to endure in order to become licensed, 3,000 to be exact. And that was tough. It took some effort, right? And yet at the same time, the effort was worth it because, again, I had that feeling this is what I'm meant to do. So it's just something to keep in mind. There's a lot of practical suggestions to discover whether you feel like you might be on the right track. Some people will flip a coin, but you're not flipping in a coin that the coin is really determining which way you're going. You look at your reaction to the coin toss, and then you really note more about what you're actually feeling based on your reaction to one possible scenario occurring. So it's just something to keep in mind. And before you even apply any of these principles to a decision, it might be really helpful to step back and really think, well, when did I feel that way in my life? When did I feel that alive? When did I feel that connected and that purposeful? For some people, it may be at your job that you just love it and you love what you do. For some people, it may be when you're drawing or performing or cooking or gardening, But the idea is if there's something that really brings about that type of fulfillment, do more of it, right? And find ways to have joy in your life and to feel that sense of connection to yourself and ultimately to your world. I'm Leslie Miranda. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. Bye.